So I'm Stephanie, and I am the co-founder of Credit Butterfly, as well as Kim as the other co-founder of Credit Butterfly, which is a software that we created that does some different things that the other CRMs are not doing right now in the space, in the credit repair space. I've been in the space for about 21 years. We created the software to help you be more compliant, be able to create credit action plans for your clients and not be charged like per action plan. They just include it inside the software. And also for you to be able to spot your FCRA violations. And that's what we're talking about today is all of the violations that are hiding in your current clients' reports. Because I promise you, you have so many violations already. If you have active clients, then you definitely have FCRA violations. And for the most part, people just don't know exactly what they are, what a violation really truly is, or how to identify them. Or even if you do identify
Look
them,
how she's looking at something.
one of the issues that I always had was keeping track of them. I might figure them out, like when I'm doing the first round of disputes, I'll be on there, but then, oh, okay, I see this, and I even do the dispute correctly for it. And then I just forget about it. Like my VA maybe is doing my updates for me and we forget about it. We're not really tracking it. And so we don't really remember that they're there. So we just lost a lot of money over the years. And I've been doing FCRA violations and sending them into the attorneys for 15 years. So, and I know what I'm doing. I know how to find them, and I still would miss them constantly because I didn't track them properly. So the software does track the violations for you. We currently now track, we currently track 7 different violations now. We just did some updates in the software. So the software itself can actually identify duplicate accounts. It can identify furniture and debt buyers reporting a balance. It can identify a mixed credit file. It can also identify debt discharged in a bankruptcy, reporting with a balance due. And it can identify credit reports that show a balance due or paid on a settled account. That comes in conjunction with when you interact with the action plan. So if you just hit like something was completed or somebody paid something or your client hit that they completed it, then it will automatically flag that violation as well. It also flags any student loan CARES Act violations on federal loans only. We did exclude the private loans. And then it will identify anything on a report that is too old, like over the 7-year mark. And very soon it's going to also identify the authorized user reports that shows us all the user activity, not just the authorized users. So we're going to actually go over all of those violations today so that you understand what an actual FCRA violation is, what an actionable one is, ones that the attorneys will actually accept, and show you how we not only track them, we identify them, the software tracks them for you. Yeah. Then when you go to submit it to the attorney, it also, in 1 second, literally 1 second, it zips every file. So it completely puts all of your evidence into one zip file that you can just upload. So it's super fast. It doesn't take you any time. And these violations make you $400 every single time you send one in and it's accepted. So there's a lot of money to be made in your business. And you probably have thousands of dollars if you have active clients right now sitting in your current client files. So that's what we want to help you do today, is be able to figure out how you can find those. Okay, so one of the first ones, and we're going to talk to just a little bit about how you should dispute these types of things. Number one, a credit report that shows a balance due on a settled or paid account. So that's a really common one. So you pay something off, Chase Bank, B of A, LVNV funding, anything like that. Say your customer does a settlement or pays it, or when you're doing their credit evaluation, They tell you, oh, I paid that like 6 months ago. I just had somebody on the other day, like that we put in the credit report, and she's like, oh, I paid that like months and months ago. And that's, we're going to track it now. It's a possible violation. So once that happens, you just wait. Once it's 90 days past the time that they actually paid it, the date that it was paid, and you have done a dispute, then that's a violation. So what you want to have as documentation when you're sending this in to the attorneys is number one, you're going to want a copy of the settlement letter and payment confirmation if they have it. That's always good evidence to have. You also a bank statement showing the payment, anything like that. The more evidence you have, the better. And then as far as the way you dispute it, attorneys do not like it if you put in, I know a big thing lately is like everybody wants to quote all these laws in their disputes and things like that, but mostly the attorneys don't care for that. They don't want laws being quoted. They want very simple language. So what we have on the screen here is like my credit report is showing a debt owed to, say, Capital One in the amount of blank from, the credit report. This account was settled in full with the collection agency or whoever it was with, and there's no balance due and owing. I'm requesting this inaccurate information be updated to reflect the settlement. If there's any confusion, I suggest you contact myself or a representative from, say, Capital One or LV&V Funding or whoever the agency was, to verify the settlement. So this is just very simple, very plain language, like a consumer would write, and on a very simple letter. Okay, we're not looking to have any types of laws quoted, no kind of crazy language in there, like, I demand that that I have rights and this and that. You don't want to say things like that. You just want to be polite, simple, right to the point. Okay, that's one of the most common ones, I think. We also have the report that shows a balance after the creditor discharged the debt with a 1099-C. Now, on this one, I think there's just a lot of misinformation out there about these 1099-Cs because now I peruse the TikTok, not gonna lie, like I'm a TikToker, I do it. And a lot of people are talking about 1099-Cs like they're doing TikToks telling consumers that they, discharge the debt. They have to issue a 1099-C. You need to ask for a 1099-C. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that. Okay, first of all, they don't have to give you a 1099-C. Okay, it's a cancellation of debt. It's just a tax thing. So what happens when you do get a 1099-C, you have to declare that as income on your credit, on your tax returns. So that's not really the greatest thing for the customer anyways to have it. But some places do. Like Chase Bank was always pretty notorious for issuing 1099-Cs. So if they have issued one or a client has received one and you know that they have one and they're still reporting the balance due, on that charge off on the credit report, that is an actual violation. Okay. And for the most part, you're not going to get that fix on the credit report. They almost never fix it, almost 100% of the time. So that's almost an automatic violation if you do have a 1099-C. So if you have that, the documentation is obviously a copy of that 1099-C. And again, the dispute is very simple. My credit report is displaying a debt owed to Chase Bank in the amount of blank. With the account number, this information is inaccurate as the debt was discharged and a 1099-C was issued by Chase. See the attached 1099. If there's any confusion, I suggest you contact myself or for Chase customer service representative. So again, just a very simple thing. Also, another misunderstanding or misconception out there is that 1099-Cs or not 1099-Cs, but charge-offs can't show a balance. I've seen that a lot out there. And where they say, oh yeah, this has been charged off. They're not allowed to report a balance. It has to be a zero balance. Well, that's not true. The only time it has to be a zero balance is if they have already sold it to a debt collector like Portfolio, Midland, anything like that. If they've already sold that off, then yes, the furnisher does have to report a zero balance. If they don't, then it's going to be one of the next things that we're going to talk about. Um, Duplicate accounts on credit reports. This is just very simple. They can only appear one time. If it's the same exact account, it appears two times on the same exact report. That's a duplicate account. It's a violation. These are common. We see these constantly and easy to spot. Again, you just want to have copies of all the letters that you send to the bureaus asking to delete one of the accounts. My credit report shows a debt owed to Capital One twice when I only have one account with Capital One. I am requesting that you remove one of the duplicate accounts. If you have any questions about this, please contact myself or Capital One to verify. Again, as you can see, the theme here is just simple language, simple disputes, things that the attorneys, if you do anything weird on it, then the attorneys are going to have to redispute it. Okay, because they're not going to be able to take that into court. They're not going to be able to go settle with that. This is what we were just talking about a little while ago. A debt buyer and original creditor both reporting a balance due. So if you do have somebody like Capital One and they're reporting a balance, and then you have another trade line on there showing with LVNV Funding or Midland or Portfolio or someone like that, and they're both reporting a balance on that same account, and you can tell if it's the same account, because typically the debt buyer is going to reference who the furnisher is in there. And if they're both reporting a balance, that's absolutely a violation. Again, a very simple dispute letter. My credit report shows debts owed to whoever it is. These two accounts are the same account. You're going to list the furnisher and the amount of blank with the account number and the amount of blank, and just requesting to remove one of the duplicate accounts. If you have any questions about this, contact myself or the furnisher to verify. These, again, dime a dozen. You're going to find these all the time. Like I find these on my clients' reports all the time. And Credit Butterfly can find these for you every single time. An unknown account on your report. This is really identity theft. And this is to be used only for identity theft, okay? If it's true identity theft. I have a case right now with a client. He definitely had identity theft. He has 2 student loans that came on his credit report like in January. They charged off by May. He has no idea. He's like a 73-year-old gentleman, like clearly not going to school. He didn't take out any student loans. And so he filed, the FTC fraud affidavit. I have him do that, okay? I do not do that for my clients. I do it with them, okay? Because they need to be filling that out. They need to be the ones checking that box when it says, they're attesting that this is true information. So what I do is I just do a Zoom with my clients, and I will take the controls in the beginning and help them fill out the form. And then I will give them the controls back so they attest to it. They see and know exactly what I'm putting on there. I just go find the information and make it easier for them, since sometimes they get confused and don't know what to put in there. But definitely you want them to do it. You want it on their IP address. Okay, that's important. You don't want your VAs in the Philippines or wherever they may be to be filling out fraud affidavits. Okay. And this one, obviously, you just need the FTC fraud affidavit and you need the police report. If there is a police report, it's not required to have both. And then you just let them know it was identity theft. For me, I also always, put like an extended fraud alert on their credit and things like that to help them. Okay, short sale listed as a foreclosure. This was really, really popular, guys, back in like 2012, 2013, after the downturn from 2008. Now, we don't see a lot of these anymore, but we do still see them. They still crop up here and there. But if your client did a short sale and it's listed as a foreclosure on their credit report, that is an actual violation and they can get damages for that. Debt discharge in a bankruptcy, reporting a balance due. So we just added this to Credit Butterfly too. So it can identify anything that was discharged that should have been discharged in the actual bankruptcy, but not things that came on after the bankruptcy discharge. This is a great one, you guys. This is especially great if you want to, you could do a business like this. You could just go out there and target bankruptcy attorneys, talk to them, send them business because not everybody needs credit repair, really. Sometimes people just need bankruptcy. Sometimes you really just need to refer them to a bankruptcy attorney instead of credit repair. That does happen. So it's really great if you can build up partnerships with bankruptcy attorneys, because if you can just get people coming in right after they were discharged, that is a really great way to do credit repair because number one, you can have them back to a 700 credit score in like about, I would say 6 to 12 months, they're going to be a 700 plus if you do everything right, right? If you're going to get them back, get them a couple secured credit cards, get them an installment loan so they have open credit and they're using it properly. And then you go clean everything up. So where the violations come in on this is when they're still reporting balances on the debts that were discharged. Constantly happens, okay? They discharge, not everything is cleaned up. Most people should do credit repair as soon as they discharge that bankruptcy to clean it up. They would be in so much better shape. I can't tell you how many clients that I have coming in and they've done a bankruptcy 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and their credit scores are still down in the 500s and they don't know why. It's because they never cleaned it up. Like they still have things that have balances. They still have issues on there that could have been cleaned up right away. They never reestablished any credit, so they're not gaining any positive points. So those are all types of things that you can help, but you could literally run your whole entire business just on this. Go partner up with 50 different bankruptcy attorneys, have them send you, their people, and you can have a booming business. And this is literally the easiest credit repair there is because it's going to get fixed every time or you're going to get a violation. And you don't have to remove the bankruptcy. Okay. They'll be back at a 700, 6 to 12 months. They can buy a house within 2 years. So it is a huge help to these people. You could reach out, do marketing to these people too. Anybody that's coming out of a bankruptcy because you can help them quite a bit. Okay, account tool to report, pretty self-explanatory. If it's over the 7 years, they cannot be reporting it. Happens all the time. They sell these debts, they're older than the 7 years, and they still end up getting reported. These are pretty easy to find. Okay, again, really super simple. My credit report is just showing a debt owed to the furnisher and the amount of X. The last activity on this account was more than 7 years ago. So this account should have been removed from my credit report. I'm requesting this inaccurate information be removed from my credit report. Now, on these, the date that they start from is the date from the last payment. So it's really the first 30-day late that led to the derogatory event. Okay. Mixed credit files. I'm really happy about this one. So we added this one into Credit Butterfly 2 where the system can automatically find this. A mixed credit file, you will almost never get it fixed, okay, without litigation, all right, through an attorney. So when you get a mixed file, it's like what we call like a laydown file, pretty much. You're just going to send it in, let them know, your file's mixed and only your information should be on the credit report and it's mixed with someone else's and you want it corrected. They're not going to be able to correct it for the most part. Wait the 30 days. If they don't correct it, then send it over to the attorney for litigation. Authorized user. This one is a little different. So I don't think a lot of people don't know about this one as an FCRA violation. Authorized user reports that show all user activity, not just the authorized user. So say you're an authorized user and we leave anybody that's an authorized user. If it's a good account, you guys leave it alone. Okay. We're not talking about good accounts. If it's a positive account, it's helping your client. Great. Leave it be, leave it alone. Don't make it try to make it a violation. It's fine. It's helping them. Now, if it's maxed out and it's a good positive account, just, have them removed from it, get it taken off so it's not hurting their utilization. But what I'm talking about here for litigation purposes is a authorized user that's say charged off or has tons of late payments, or it's really hurt your client's credit score in some way. First of all, we want to take them
Yeah,
off.
want some now.
We want to get it off. Make sure can I make sure you're muting people?
Oh,
So we want to get it off of there. So one way to do it is authorized user reports can't show all of the activity. So if it's showing all of the activity from both, which it is almost 100% of the time doing that, not just showing the user, that's a violation. Okay, so if you have one and you can't get it off and they aren't removing it, then you can send that in for litigation. Okay. And then I think some of these are just slides. Man, I ran through that fast. All right. So I'm actually going to take questions. So these are actually some slides where you can see the software and how it like flags the different violations, where you'll see it shows up. We have actual trackers. I don't see any of the trackers in here. This is we'll add trackers next time, but this is an actual violation that I sent in on one of my clients, just so you can see what happened here. So this is actually a report from February of 2025, right? So they paid this account off with Republic Bank Trust, right? They paid it off, they settled it, and NCB deleted it. Okay, NCB does a pay for delete. All right, so they deleted that account completely. It was gone. So in January, when I refreshed the credit report and looked, it was completely gone. It was fine. But in February, here's what happened. They put it up back on, right? So both of my clients, this is on two of my clients, both NCBs, there was two of them. They each had one. They paid both off. This was on both. They did this on both. Only Experian did this. And or sorry, and TransUnion, but or no, is this the old one? These were not in order. This was the first one, sorry. This one here was the first one where it was on TransUnion and Experian. It got deleted. In January, I pulled it again, and then in February, it came back only on Experian. So I got paid out on both of those accounts, okay, for me, for the sending it into the attorney. And my clients got paid out a good sum of money for that as well. So your clients, also get money for these violations. They get anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500, sometimes even more, depending if they find other things when they're in there doing stuff when you send it over to the attorney. And I think that's all we're going to cover. I think we covered this already, building like the winning packet. You just want to make sure that you have a very simple dispute. I recommend that you do not dispute other items with your FCRA violations, that you dispute them on separate letters. Okay. My attorneys that we use here, they don't like it if you have 15 items on a letter with a violation. So they want them on a separate letter. And that's how we do it. You could have 3 violations showing up. Like I did one today where I put in a credit report and it came up. They had a mixed file violation and they had a debt buyer and a furnisher reporting a balance. So 2 different violations on the same credit report. And I'm just going to do those on the same one, write the same letter. That's fine. I mean, you just want to make sure you have everything on there that you need, full name, social, date of birth, address, that kind of thing. Be very specific with your documentation for each one that you do, and also just make sure it's in very simple language. Okay. This again is just going over the language. Don't use any kind of language like you're violating my rights. I'm angry. It's an outrage.
no.
Don't do that. Not a good idea.
We
All right.
have a question from Bruce saying, what can you do after the debt was sold to a collection agency and now both show on my credit?
Are they both showing a balance? And you just unmute yourself and answer.
Yeah, Bruce, go ahead and unmute and
There we go. I'm not sure. I just got the notice from the new collection agency. They sent me a letter of registered mail, so I have to go back and double check. But that was the first thing that I thought of, was that if the debt has been sold, then it needs to come off the original creditor and then just be listed under the collection agency.
So it doesn't actually have to be taken off as long as they're reporting, if the furnisher is reporting a zero balance. So the furnisher can be reporting a zero balance and showing that it was sold, and then the new collector can be reporting the balance. What can't happen is they cannot both be reporting a balance on that same debt, but they can both still show on your credit report.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
But look and
okay.
see if look and see if they both have a balance, because that's where your violation will come in.
And
Okay.
Nathan is asking if all of this can be disputed online.
Jay, do you know the answer to that? Because I don't ever dispute online. I used to do it in the past, but I don't do it for violations. I send paper letters. But what do you think?
Yeah, most attorneys are not going to want you to do it online.
Cool.
Yeah.
All of them need to be done standard disputes.
Yeah, that's how I've always done it. So, I mean, Jay does a lot of these, so he's gonna know too, pretty much. So for sure, yeah. Do them normally, just do them regular letters, not online.
Okay, and then we have a question from Chris. If we got garnished, let's say by One Main Financial on a default, and after you made payments for about 2 years, should the balance be updated on the One Main Financial trade line, or should the balance be zero?
So they should be updating your balance monthly if they're receiving a payment. Because I think that falls into like, I don't know if that's an FDCPA violation. Do you know, Jay?
Yeah, it's both.
It's both? Okay. Yeah. So they have to be updating. So you always want, if someone does a settlement, what I do is I watch. I watch that settlement after, if they're making payments, monthly payments, I watch it each month to make sure the balance is going down. Otherwise, I'm going to send that to an attorney to take a look at it. You're ready to file a complaint? All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Go
Do
for
we
sure.
have,
Go
should
do
I
it.
put the,
Yeah, and then you can just set up your own agreement with McCarthy. If you have any violations on any files or anything, you can send those directly into McCarthy for litigation. But again, you want to dispute them. You want to make sure you wait the time out for them, wait the 30 days, re-import, get the credit report showing, the errors are still there and that kind of stuff before you start sending them in. And if you guys have questions, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy
yeah,
to.
you can take yourself off mute, because I see Diana raised her hand and DLWJR also raised his hand or would like to
Okay,
ask.
so let's just go ahead. Yeah, maybe that's easier. Just raise your hand since there's a lot of people on today. Just go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question. Go ahead, Diana.
Hi, Stephanie. I
Hi.
have a question about the unauthorized user situation. You were
Uh-huh.
explaining, and I didn't quite understand. Could you explain a little bit more about that? Because
Mhm.
I've never spent money on my side as being the authorized user. He just put me on to raise my credit,
Right.
okay? But he messed that up and went ahead and maxed them out. And so now it's reflecting on my report. How do I get me off as an unauthorized user
So
now
is
or
it
authorized user?
derogatory? Is it like charged off or is it just late?
No, it's way past late, I'm sure.
Okay. So if it's already charged off, then yeah, you can send the dispute in for the authorized user, the dispute that we had on there. I'll put it back up for you. There you go. Can you see that?
Mm, Yes.
That's the dispute. So you can send a letter in and dispute it on your credit report. If it does not come off, then you can send that over to McCarthy.
Awesome. So again, I've got like a credit, what are they called? The most popular one, Capital One. I had an account years and years and years and years and years ago, and they're still showing that I owe them something. I never paid it off. It was in collections, but it's still there. So I also had an authorized user with his through a Capital One account, and it's showing both his and mine from like years ago. Is that notorious for Capital One?
If I were you, you should just connect with me like tomorrow. Send me an email. I'm going to put my email in the chat for you. And we can run your credit report through the system. If you just need to get a credit report like Smart Credit or Identity IQ or My Free Score Now or something, and we can run it through and look. And we can see if you have violations.
Oh, I'm sure I do. Credit or Capital One's good for that. Good for that, for sure.
Yeah,
thank you. All right.
Yeah, so just connect with me. Just shoot me an email and I'll get back with you.
Okay,
Awesome.
and then
thank you so much.
I think
You're
the
welcome.
next one is DLWJR.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Hi. I've started collections with a debt, the debt relief program here that was going on because my debts were too high. And when they negotiated one account for me, but not all of them. But then after that, I just, after I looked at the paperwork they did, they weren't saving me any money. So I kind of fired them. But then they started the negotiations with one company, and they, then I have separate business. So I don't know if they're going to keep that account, but I'm filing bankruptcy. And I don't know how to get that money out of what they claim to be negotiating, because it still shows up on the app I have for them, but it doesn't show them having paid me any money. And they say they've given that money to the company that I owe, but I don't know how that's going to work. Because if I'm filing bankruptcy, then don't they have to give me that money back since I fired them, or do it?
So the debt settlement company would have to give you back anything minus their fees or what have you if you have ended, a relationship with them. Anything that you still have in your escrow account would be returned to you. But if they already paid your debt to the debt collector for a settlement, then you wouldn't get that money back.
None of it, because the debt's not fully paid off.
No, but if they were making payments to the debt and using your escrowed money and they already made the payments to the debt collector, there's no way to recoup that money.
Okay. Thank you. I needed to know that before I tried.
Yeah, no problem. All right, any other questions?
And I don't see any other questions. Oh yeah, Martin's holding his hand up.
Why am I not seeing the hands?
Well, I think he literally held up his hand.
Oh.
Take yourself off mute.
All right. All right, Martin, what's your question? Oh, you there, Martin? All right, I don't know where Martin is. So I have one with their hand up. It's called Zoom user. So whoever is
okay,
Zoom
I was trying to figure out how to take
Oh, there you go.
on
Here's
mute.
Martin.
Okay, sorry. So I have a collection from Sloan. It's a student loan, and it was from 2008. It was closed or transferred to Trellis, but they're both reporting it on my credit report. Is there a way that I could get the one from Sloan from 2008 to off of my credit report?
Is it like a continuation
No,
or
it says
the same exact stuff?
It says transferred after 120 days, date close 2020. and
And it's a
account
zero
closed due to
balance,
transfer.
right?
Yeah, it says balance zero. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually okay.
Oh, you scared the shit out of me. And I saw you. I just didn't see you go that way.
Oh. All right. Luxury needs to mute.
Shit, I'm trying to fucking find.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's okay, Martin. I think they're allowed to do that. You're on mute, Martin.
So they're allowed to, even though I no longer have this debt with Sloan, they're still allowed to report that, even though it
Yeah.
was closed.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything. I mean, it's not like derogatory or anything, right?
No,
It's
no,
good.
it's not.
Yeah. No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Zoom user.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question, it was funny that he asked that. It was pertaining to student loans as well. So I have student loans on there from um years ago, over 20 years ago. Um, and I did make payments and then I found myself like in a deferment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
On the report, it has like late payments and stuff. Cause I was at the time I was just paying whoever called and said, hey, you need to make these payments, blah, 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 blah. But it was so much money going out. I was like, I don't even know who I'm paying. You know what I mean?
You're
And
right.
so I ended up talking to one company and they did a consolidation. Nevertheless, I went through a stage where I didn't know it, but they were garnishing my wages and then they took my income tax. So it's like $27,000 they got in 1 year.
Oh, so they did
Um,
like a tax offset for because they were or were they obviously they were like in default, right? The student loans.
I'm guessing that they were in
Yeah.
default. I didn't know they were in default. I just kind of like called the student loan people and told them what was going on. Showed them like I'm paying like several different places, and I just want to know who I'm paying because I don't even know who I'm paying. And so I had spoke to one lady, and she was like, wait after I think she was like 6 months, and then file your taxes or whatever. I waited. They still took the taxes.
Yeah.
Then
They're
over
gonna keep
time,
yeah.
they end up sending me a check because I started looking more into it. So they sent me a check back like 2 years ago from student loans for, they said, overpayment.
Yeah.
And then all my account was zeroed out or whatever. And then I had one particular place I went to school for pharmacy in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I guess they was falsifying, saying that they was a accredited program, to find out that they weren't. And so they just said that they wrote off that whole thing. So I wanted to know, how would I go about to, from the past, um, like get them to say current? Because I also know with credit you dealing with history, and my student loans and those things, they have like a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So I have the history. I don't really want to remove the history, but I would like them to remove the late payments, being though there were a lot of different things going on with my account. And then the late payments, it started off as 30, 60, 90, 120, 120, 120, 180. That's how I was. So I know it's not, that part's not consistent neither. When I called the student loan people to talk to them about it, they said there was nothing they can do about it and that I would have to go through the credit bureaus. But then the credit bureaus was like, there's nothing that they can do about it neither. But I actually have where it's paid in full, on time payments, and you know,
Yeah, so it sounds like what happened to me is what it sounds like happened is that your all your student loans were in default. So you're not going to be able to get the lates and things like that removed from those student loans. So here's what you can do when you have a defaulted student loan. Just if you ever need to know this for future. So when you have a defaulted student loan, if you don't pay them, they will garnish, they will do tax offsets, and they're going to get their money, right? So they're going to
right.
do that. But you have a one-time thing that you can do, which is a rehab program when you have a defaulted student loan. Okay, so if you And that's where you get the credit stuff taken away. So if you do a rehab program, say you had defaulted student loans, you do a rehab program, it takes 9 months, 10 months really, 10 or 9 on-time payments over 10 months time. After the end of that time, after you do a good rehab program, they reinstate your loans as new again, like they're all fresh and new and look good. Your late payments are still going to remain from the previous, but they're going to remove all the collection information. So any of the collection information, all of the default, all of the, assigned to government kind of things that are on there, that all gets taken away. Now, when you go and you do a consolidation, a 3-month consolidation instead of a rehab program on a student loan that's defaulted, then what happens is they don't remove the derogatory information, right? That stays like what you're talking about, and that's just going to stay till it falls off over time.
Yeah,
Or
because I did the
dispute it if
9 month.
there's inconsistencies.
I did the 9 month thing where they wouldn't let me pay it in full. It actually had to be like month to month to month to month. So I did that part. So I don't know. Should I leave the old stuff on there? Because I actually have it reported on there twice. And one of them is 100% payments in full. When I talked to them, they said they're going to make an adjustment, which they did. Because I said, y'all send me a check. So if y'all send me a check for money, I said it went from 11,000 to 17,000. Y'all send me a check for 5,000, which you sent it to me for. Y'all could have kept the money. And that's when I
Okay.
found out that the program, the school program that I had, it wasn't an accredited program. And so they kind of just was like, hey, we just wiped away
Yeah.
their slate. You know what I mean?
Connect with me. Did you get my email off of the chat? It's Stephanie@creditbutterfly.ai. Connect with me and we'll send yours over to the attorney, the credit report over. They can look at it.
Okay, that sounds good. Yep, I just
Okay.
got it just now and I'm sending it to myself.
Yeah, shoot me an email. What's your name?
It's Tamika.
Tamika?
Yes, ma'am.
N or an M?
Tamika.
Okay, Tamika. So yeah, Tamika, connect with me so I'll know. I'll look for your email and then we'll go ahead and send it to the attorneys and let them take a look and let
Okay.
you kind of go through it because it is pretty complicated. Yours.
Yeah, when you look at it, then you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let them take a look. They can probably find something on there.
All right.
All right. We have about 7 more minutes. So go ahead, Diana.
Hi, thanks for taking my question again. It's also regarding a student loan. I have one from 1989 and I found out, yeah, and it was not accredited school. I've tried to dispute it with the Department of Education, and I keep getting it's moved from this collection to another collection agency, and they're both showing up. So I got tons of crap on my credit report. And
Is it
I've
a
also
private? It was a private student loan from a non-accredited school.
exactly.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because
I couldn't
they
qualify
can't
for
leave it
any of
on
the
more than
things.
7 years. You know that, right? Like private loans,
Yeah.
just like any other regular thing. It's not like a federal student loan where they can leave it on forever.
Well, they're still trying to. I've signed up for the income
Yeah, like the IDR.
dependent.
Yeah.
Yes, IDR. And they keep telling me, well, now you have to file a report with the Department of Education because this has been so long. They've taken taxes.
Yeah.
You know,
Send
they
me an
keep
email
telling me.
too. Yeah. Send me an email too, and we'll look at it. We'll figure out if it's federal, private, what it is.
Oh, it's definitely a private because they told me I could not apply for any of the consolidation or because it's not a federal, I didn't get approved
yeah.
for any of the.
Then it shouldn't be on there past 7 years.
Yeah, I've been fighting this, and now the Department of Education is demolished or whatever. What do I do now to get it off of there? But
Yeah.
that's my
I'll help
longest
you with it.
standing.
Shoot me an email tomorrow or tonight
Okay.
after the class and I'll get back with you guys tomorrow and help you with those. Student loans are more difficult because they're so nuanced, but I'll help you one-on-one with that.
All right, awesome. Thank you again.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. And then I think we had another question. Nathan was asking how much the software is monthly. It really depends on how many active like users that you have. So, but it starts at 197 for up to 120 active clients for the Credit Butterfly software. So that should answer your question. If you have up like to 400 clients, I think it's 297. And you guys, if you want a free trial of Credit Butterfly, you can go get a free trial. I'm gonna put it in there right now where you can go get a free trial and check it out. And then I'll connect with you too. Once I see you get the free trial, I'll connect with you and we'll get you onboarded in and I'll show you how to use it.
Hi, Stephanie. I have a question.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello. So I have a situation where one of my clients' daughter credit card has had a limit of 2,500, but she has fraudulent charges on her credit card that amount up to $16,000 from Dubai.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is very rare because typically Chase will
And she
not
had a
allow.
limit of 2,500, but somehow they got $16,000 worth of charges on the card. Did I hear that right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, on her credit report, it's showing as a charge off of that amount of 16,000.
Yeah,
What can she do? Because it's not identity theft. Like her social was not stolen. Like
that is identity theft.
it is okay. So I thought it was more of like
Yeah, no. If she didn't make the charges and somebody got her credit card, yeah, that's identity theft.
Now the bizarre thing is like, Chase is a very, pretty known bank. So she had a credit limit. Chase authorized $2,500, but somehow they were able to rank up $16,000 just like that.
That is crazy. Like
Yeah.
I have been around a long time. I've never heard of that
Right. So
happening. That's a new one for me.
I'd love to, if I can email you,
Yes,
and,
yes,
and
please
see
do.
how we can help her. That'd be
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, for sure. I'll show you how to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, just shoot me an email.
Okay. We'll be in touch. Thank you, Steph.
You're welcome. All right, guys, 4:59. So what we always do here is we always close these meetings on time. So I really appreciate everybody that came out tonight to learn about the FCRA violations. And I hope this was helpful for you. And I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions or need any additional help, please feel free to just give me, shoot me an email. Everybody has my email in there. Shoot me an email and I will definitely get back with you and I can help you one-on-one. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.